just 5-10 minutes. We're gonna do an open question answer forum regarding Kiruv. The topic of this part is, what is it called again? Even teenagers can do Kiruv. Anyone have any? We can open up the questions. Yes.
When do we stop doing Kiruv, and when do we actually move on to doing, I'm talking about intellectually, or halacha, or gemara?
When do we, what do you ask?
When do we stop doing Kiruv?
Stop? When do we stop doing Kiruv?
To a certain bachar. Like when a certain bachar comes under your wing.
So I'll be honest with you, I don't believe Kiruv ever stops. Because as close as this student will be to you, I have students that I've done Kiruv that were 12 years old, and now they're 45, married, and they're Rabbanim. Now, I mean Kiruv, this guy comes from a very religious home, but he himself needed Kiruv, the boy. But right now, he's a Ravin Flatbush, and my mama, she calls me up like he's 11 children. So Kiruv never ends, okay? Kiruv on yourself never ends. Kiruv on any individual never ends. Therefore, there is no end to Kiruv. What was your second part of your question?
And so more so just when to move on from Kiruv and just always being inspiring and all these stories.
Well, everything a person does, hopefully, is Makarev. Charlie Harari, Rabbi Ben Sasson, name the Rabbanim, Mizrahi. Everything they do is Kiruv. They're trying to build. No end. Next question. Anybody have a question? So, in reality, everyone can do Kiruv, even teenagers. Why? Kiruv doesn't necessarily mean that you actually have a Kiruv discussion. Kiruv means that through your behavior, even with a friend of yours, if you're behaving a certain way and you inspire somebody through your davening, through your learning, through your friendship, that's Kiruv. Kiruv doesn't mean that it's a rabbi with a microphone standing in front of a multitude of people and he's being Makarev. Kiruv can be at home too. You can be Makarev your parents, you can be Makarev your brother, through your actions. So everyone is capable of doing Kiruv, but the most important thing, you need to be a good influence. As a Mekarev, if you take upon yourself to help others, you need to make sure that your toho is kabaro, your inside is like your outside, and that you're not echad belev, that you say one thing with your heart, ve'echad bepeh, and then how you act is a different way. You need to be the way you are with your mouth, the way you are inside. Otherwise, a good student will catch on. Eventually you'll slip. Eventually he'll see that you're not as real as you say. So you really need to be not sound, but understanding that your actions as a Makarev, whether you're a teenager or an adult, people see. I've made that mistakes before. I'm going to be honest. I'm sure you know. I've made mistakes before that I can be one way, and that I'm more serious when I'm dealing with people. You need to know that the spotlight is always on you, whether you're in the house, whether you're in the street. Besides that, Hashem sees you. You need to know that you're a walking Mekarev through your actions. Anyone else? Any questions? I'm sure you have a question.
About anything or Kiruv?
Kiruv. Can teenagers do Kiruv?
So a question I have, I guess, is...
So, yes.
My cousin Rabbi Yaniv,
yes.
When he was 15, he started Chazaq also.
I will tell you a little story about it. I want you to hear this. When I was working in an organization on Main Street, I was upstairs over, I think Shalom Pharmacy, I think it was called, and they had a floor over there where I had an office over there. And I do remember Rabbi Yaniv at 15, 16, whatever age it was, he comes over to me with an album. It's a true story. Obviously, I'm not going to lie to you. He comes over with an album, and it wasn't even done well. It was like the old days, like, I don't know, 20-something years ago, an album that you open up the plastic and you put a page in and you close it. And he had loose papers. It wasn't even done professionally. It was like an album that he put together with flyers, with Divrei Torah that he got from people. And he said to me, what do you think? And this is, I'll tell you what I said. What do you think about me with this album starting an organization? Look at the paperwork. And I'll be very honest with you. I'm telling you the truth. I work for the organization. I said, yeah, it could work. Deep in my heart, I didn't think it would be successful because I was wrong, obviously. And I said, but I didn't tell him that. I said, yeah, wow, this is amazing. Listen, a 16-year-old boy comes to you. You never heard of the organization. It didn't exist. Why would I think all of a sudden, yes, it's for sure going to be a big thing. But I didn't tell him that. Listen, if he can do something with it, gewaldig. But I didn't think it would take off. Because I'm thinking, this is a young guy, has a dream, has some papers and a thing. What are you, in Main Street, in the whole neighborhood? Chazaq, what are you talking about? And today I work for that organization. So that's pretty ironic. No, I work for the organization that I, in my mind, didn't think would actually make it. So that's a good lesson. He was makar of me by me realizing that go for your dreams. Go for your dreams. You never, never know. And incredibly, what Chazaq does all around the world. It's amazing. I mean, think about it. Like you, a 15, 16-year-old boy, Rabbi Kiruv, came to me, and look where Chazaq is today. What did you want to say?
So my question is, does Kiruv have to adapt to each new generation? How people are, like now there are people on TikTok.
Excellent question. Excellent question. That's an unbelievable question. Because the problem, I wouldn't say chas v'shalom with Rabbeim. I don't want to put Rabbeim and the word problem together. But it's very important for a Rebbe to a certain degree to know how to adapt, that it's not one size fits all. What worked 25 years ago, yes, pure Torah works every generation. If you're sitting in a yeshiva learning real Torah, it's the same. The same Rishonim, the same Achrayim in a way. But when it comes to Kiruv, you need not chas v'shalom get involved and to know well. You need to know what lies behind many new things that have arisen. And like you said, you mentioned TikTok, Instagram, whatever it was. Not that a Rebbe should know exactly what it is or a Makarev, but he should know to identify what weaknesses it causes, what are its strengths, which aren't many, and obviously the weaknesses. So yes, a Rebbe and a Makar, very important, without getting too involved in what's going on. Like a Rebbe doesn't have to watch a movie to know that movies are a problem. So yes, you need, very important, I won't say Chas v'shalom Rabbeim should, or Makarim should lessen their religion, the religious observance, but they should be aware a little bit of what the dangers and challenges teenagers and even adults have today. Yes?
I just want to follow up that like technology now is moving so fast that there's artificial intelligence, there's virtual reality. In a few years, kids might have like headsets on their head and they're in a different world. And how will we reach them then?
So what did we say? A rabbi, Hashem in every generation gives tools for people to be able to stay close to Hashem, to be able to learn Torah, to be able to stay very pure. But a person has to be aware of the challenges so he knows how to address them. The Gedolei Hador, the poskim like Reb Moshe, 35, 40 years ago, 45 years ago, they didn't have technology like they have today, but the concepts of how they work are the same Yetzer Haras in a certain way, but coming out with different technology. For example, the Mesilas Yesharim is the Mesilat Yesharim from 100, 200 years ago, and it is what it is today. So the same Mesilat Yesharim can work on people 100 years ago to the people today. When you open up Mesilat Yesharim, you think he's talking to you. You actually, if you read the Mesilat Yesharim, you can read the Mesilat Yesharim and learn it when you're 15 and it's talking to you, and you could read it when you're 70 and it's talking to you. And that's the greatness of Torah and Musar. The concepts are the same. The evil is the same, but it manifests itself in different ways. And the Makarev, the Posek, the Rebbe should identify what damage it is. For example, laziness is laziness, whether you're on a computer or you're laying in bed or you're just you're running around. Yetzer Hara, to look at things you shouldn't look at, could be in the street, it could be on a phone, it could be on a computer, it can also be in a newspaper. So therefore, the damage is the same damage. It's called not looking at improper things. So it doesn't make a difference on how you see it, but the difference is it's the problem itself that we have to address. So therefore, even with a virtual reality, we understand that a person can get so involved in it that it's difficult, but it all boils down to not learning when you should be learning, or keeping away from things that take you away from learning. If you learn Torah, it will protect you from any type of disease. If you daven and you get close to Hashem, it will protect you from any problem. So I hope that answered your question. Anybody else? And I think we can end with that. But I will tell you, everyone can do Kiruv through his actions, through the way he lives his life, through the way he addresses people. You know, Makarev is also a guy who smiles at people. You know, today I was in shul, in Shabbos, in the morning, and an individual, probably 70-year-old man, walks over to me after davening and says, I love your smile. You are very excitable, and your smile radiates. So I said, I'm a happy person. But then I told him something he loved. He said, the smile of a person is a Rishus HaRabim. It's public domain. When a guy walks down like this, frowning, a person feels worse. People see the guy, When a guy smiles, it brightens somebody's mood. Therefore, your smile affects people. And even in a book, I shouldn't bring it up, but I will, there's a famous book from Dale Carnegie. I'm not into Goyish books, no one should read non-Jewish books, but it was one of these famous self-help books of like almost 100 years ago. They even have courses. It's called the Dale Carnegie book, the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now yes, it's based on Hanifa, it's based on fooling people, but there is a truth to it too. And he brings down a person, one of the things he says, a person should always smile. A person should always smile, because a smile will brighten somebody else's day. When you want to go buy an item, when you want to be a salesman, smile. Because your smile, now it shouldn't be done in sheker, but in general, a smile is a very powerful thing. And we know this from actually in Parshas Vayigash. Paro asked Yaakov Avinu how old he was. So Yaakov said, my life is X amount of years, and Paro thought he was much older than he was. Yaakov. He almost thought it was Avrohom Avinu. And Chazal tell us that Yaakov aged because of his suffering. And Chazal say that Yaakov lost years of his life because it was noticeable on his face that he aged, and that's why Paro had to ask that question. Because a tzaddik is judged b'chut ha'sayra. He should not even be noticeable on a person's face if you're on that high standard that you're suffering. Because then people say, oh, he's a tzaddik, he suffered, look at Hashem did to this guy. But if you're smiling and you show that you're happy, people say, wow, this tzaddik went through a lot, but he realizes Hashem runs the world, and he's happy. So Yaakov lost many years of his life, Chazal tell us, because Paro asked the question, how old are you? Only because he looked so old, he looked like Avram, so therefore he got punished years. Almost word for every letter that Paro asked, he got punished. For every word Paro asked, he got punished. And even on the question, he got punished. Why? Because it should never have been noticeable on his face. He suffered because a face is a Rishus HaRabim. When you walk out on the street, people look at a Talmud Chacham, a Ben Torah. Is he happy with what he's going through, or is he sad? And that can uplift people. So that's Kiruv without even saying a word. That's Kiruv without even saying a word. So I'm going to let you all eat your ice cream in peace.